To everyone listening, thank you for giving me the gift of your time. Your support is something I could never fully express in words. And tonight I offer you a story that will stay with you until its very last breath. It began with a message, short, plain, and deceptively harmless. Or at least, that's how it appeared at first. We need closure. Just one last night. The words glowed on my phone screen, and my hands shook as I read them again and again, trying to make sense of it. The sender was my wife, the woman I had trusted, loved, and built my world around. A cold wave spread through my chest as my stomach clenched painfully. My first reaction was denial. Closure? With her ex? No, that doesn't happen in real marriages, not in ours. We had been together for 7 years, with more than a decade of history woven tightly together. I thought of the first time I held her hand, of the countless nights we stayed awake whispering dreams to each other until sunrise, of the future we had promised to one another. And now, this single line of text threatened to destroy all of it. When I asked her about it, I tried to keep my voice steady even though inside me a storm was raging. She didn't flinch. I need to see him one last time, she told me softly, her words calm and deliberate. It's closure, nothing more. I just need to be sure everything between us is finished. It won't change what we have. Her eyes were so convincing, sincere, steady, almost tender. For a moment, I wanted to believe her. For a moment, I nearly did. But a seed of doubt had already been planted, and with each passing hour, it spread deeper, heavier, impossible to shake. The following days unsettled me in ways I couldn't ignore. Her phone, once carelessly left unlocked on the counter, was suddenly guarded like a secret. Her laughter felt forced, a little too bright, as though she was rehearsing joy. I found receipts from places I didn't recognize, charges that didn't match her story. It's just work stuff, she brushed it off with a smile. You're overthinking again. But suspicion is corrosive. It seeps into the cracks of every thought, poisoning trust until nothing feels safe. I began noticing the tiny betrayals in her body language. The way her lips twitched when she answered certain calls. The way her gaze flicked toward the door late at night when she whispered into her phone. The faint trace of perfume I knew she didn't wear. I told myself I was imagining it, that it was stress, that we'd been too busy. Still, the unease grew louder, more relentless. Then came the night that broke everything. We had planned a quiet dinner. Candles, wine, just us, the way it used to be. I tried to hold on to that flicker of intimacy, desperate to save something slipping away. But she was distracted, her eyes down on the phone hidden in her lap. And then I saw it. A notification lit up her screen. Can't wait tonight. My blood froze. My chest tightened so painfully I could hardly breathe. I wanted to shout, to demand the truth right there, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, I reached for her hand, trembling. She pulled it away. I told you it's nothing, she whispered. But her voice was hollow, empty. That night I lay awake, every memory unraveling and reshaping itself in darker colors. The work calls that had stretched late into the night. The weekend trips to visit family. The laughter that never quite sounded real. Piece by piece, the puzzle assembled itself into a truth I no longer had the power to deny. The next morning, I made my choice. Not out of paranoia. Out of survival. Out of the need to face reality head-on. I followed her. I trailed her through the city until she entered a hotel downtown. My heart pounded in my ears, my throat raw from shallow breaths. And through the glass I saw him. Her ex. The man she claimed she needed closure from. They weren't strangers catching up. They weren't two people putting an end to unfinished business. They were close, too close. Their laughter was easy, their movements familiar, their hands brushing like no time had passed at all. And then it hit me with brutal clarity. Closure was a lie. It had always been a lie. I didn't confront her then. I stood there like a ghost, numb and hollow, letting the betrayal carve itself into my chest until it burned. Then I turned away before she could see me, wandering the streets in silence as the weight of it all sank in. When I finally returned home, she was there, her expression carefully painted with innocence. She began, but I cut her off with a voice so cold it startled even me. Don't bother. I saw it all. Closure wasn't about healing. It was about you. Her face drained of color. In that moment, everything crumbled. The walls of our home, the trust we had built, the love I had given without condition. The hours that followed blurred together in quiet devastation. I watched her pack, mechanical and detached, stuffing clothes into suitcases without shedding a single tear. She didn't beg. She didn't apologize. Maybe she couldn't. Maybe the guilt had already consumed her. I felt both relief and heartbreak. Relief that the truth was no longer a shadow haunting me. Heartbreak that the woman I thought I knew had vanished, replaced by someone I could no longer love. By the time she left, I had already protected myself. Accounts frozen. Cards cut off. Quiet preparations made in the weeks, I felt something unraveling. The marriage was done, not with shouting or flames, but with a hollow finality. Later, walking past a cafe where we used to sit for hours, sharing laughter and fragile dreams, I stopped. The air was heavy with memory, but it tasted bitter now. Painful, yes, but clear. I had lost her, but I had survived. The betrayal had cost her everything. But in losing her, I found something I didn't know I needed. The strength to reclaim myself. The freedom to mourn fully, to rebuild, to stand again. I didn't hate her. Hate would have been too easy. Instead, I felt sorrow, a quiet, heavy sorrow for what we had, for who I believed she was, for the love that slipped through my fingers. She had sought closure in the wrong arms, and in doing so, destroyed the only home she ever had. As for me, I learned how to close the chapter without losing my soul. When I locked the door behind her last suitcase, I whispered to the empty silence, "Goodbye. I hope you find what you were really looking for." And in that silence, the weight lifted, just enough for hope to slip through, enough for resilience to take root, enough for me to imagine a future no longer chained to deceit. The cards were declined. The marriage was over. The chapter closed.